Hello, and happy Friday, everyone. Hope everyone has been having a great week so far and a great end of the week.
I just realized my shirt
Oh,
matches
yeah,
my
you're
Alani.
matching.
I'm color coordinating. Sorry.
Sweet. Well, I'm Isiah Kilgoon with me today.
I'm
It's
back.
our first show together this week,
Yeah.
which is weird,
It's
right?
been a weird week because you were out on Monday,
Yep.
and then my wife was sick on Wednesday, so I had to stay home and watch the kids. And we're here.
I know, right?
The dynamic duo back again. So
We are back. Well, today we're going to be going over Open Beta 10 update notes, which are live now on SMITE2.com chat if you want to pull those up and follow along with us. It's going to be just a quick overview because we've talked about pretty much everything that was in the update on our Monday and Wednesday shows. It's been a busy week, man. Just thinking about the reveals for Apollo. Then we had patch notes on Wednesday. Then we had the Scylla and Ganesh surprise flash test yesterday. Lots of stuff going on.
yeah, lots of stuff going on. You know, we are hard at work as
Yes.
always. Trying to make the game better and trying to focus on the things that players really want. I think this early flash test of Scylla and Ganesh was a fun way of getting some work in progress gods out in front of the community to show them the progress that we are making,
Yeah.
you know, and that, even though the H god may not be the next god on the calendar anymore.
Still got some exciting stuff.
We got a
on the
lot of
way.
exciting stuff
Yeah.
going on, right? And I think, there's so many classic gods that people are still missing in Smite 2.
Yeah.
I think that getting a few more of these classic gods in quicker might be the right path forward
for sure.
us. So
I saw a lot of people excited about Scylla
Yeah.
and Ganesh yesterday. Lots of cool gameplay and stuff. Of course, work in progress, so there's some issues and some
Yeah.
weirdness going on, but it was actually really cool because we see all that stuff in progress in our playtest, but this is kind of the first time we've ever let the community get their hands on a god or a release this early, so it was cool.
And we actually had some pretty strict criteria on like what we thought would be an acceptable level to get it in front of the community, because there is a point where it's just where we're playtesting with gods where it's too early for it to be of any value to you other than to be like, yeah, that probably will eventually feel like Scylla, you know? We wanted to make sure that gameplay wise, we felt like they were pretty close.
Yeah.
And so that you could actually assess the feels of them. But the audience that listens to Titan Talk would probably be okay with them being in the game at that state, right?
Yeah.
But the FX and audio being so incomplete still means that it's really hard to play against them.
True. Yeah.
Because you don't necessarily always know what they're doing. I got Scylla ulted by Travis the other day, and I was like, what the hell? There was no audio feedback. There was a tiny little targeter on the ground, then it exploded. I was like, what happened, you know? And so even in internal playtests, we get mad sometimes because there isn't enough feedback on gods.
Yeah.
So it's good to get the feedback of, does it feel like it's going in the right direction? Does it feel like it plays right?
Yeah.
But we understand that playing against it probably still doesn't feel good enough for it to go in the game, which is why we need to keep working on things. But it really is a pipeline, and I think you can see where they are in the pipeline.
Right, yeah.
You know?
And one thing I did want to clarify, I saw a lot of discussions like, wow, it only takes them 2 weeks to create a god. No, Chad. It takes a lot longer than 2 weeks. But we've been working really hard in the background, and we got these two characters to a state to where we felt comfortable, getting them out on the PTS for a flash test.
Yeah, and Ganesh was actually far ahead, I would say, of where he normally would be a month out or 6 weeks out, basically. But our calendar shifted around a little bit, and some people had some time to get a little bit further ahead on certain things. So this was kind of a rare situation that we were able to have two gods that felt pretty good to flash test at this point in time. But yeah, it's the best way of thinking about it is even though it is absolutely nothing like it, it's kind of like an assembly line, right? It's I don't know if you've ever seen a car assembly line or any kind of a complex mechanical product, right? Where it's this person bolts the door on, and this person, installs the air conditioning, and this person puts the badge on the bumper, right? It has to go piece by piece through the process. And it really is a multi-month process to bring a god into the game. It just takes each step, takes its own little bit at a time, and it goes from person to person. So
sweet. Well, let's not get too ahead of ourselves because we have Apollo coming out on Monday. Let's bring up the handy dandy desktop. Manny is joining us for our patch notes review as well. And these notes are live on SMITE2.com. He's got to chill.
Oh, Manny.
So let's go through the notes really quickly. We've got the God of Music update. That is Apollo. We've got our nice little summary here with all the stuff. If you don't want to read all patch notes, we've got a nice summary at the top. The new ported God, of course, all of his ability info. Apollo's aspect of harmony is going to be releasing on the 23rd. So update live Monday the 19th. Then Apollo's aspect live on the 23rd, following that usual cadence that we do.
Yeah, and if you're watching for the first time this week and haven't seen what Apollo does, I think the most interesting thing to look out for and to play around is allies can hop in your chariot with you when you ultimate. So you can kind of give them a little taxi ride across the map.
Yeah.
And then for his aspect, he actually becomes more of a support. So his he gets free casts of his his So Beautiful, off of his Audacity instead of getting bonus attack speed. And the damage of his now scales with item health, and it also lowers attack speed, and he also does some more buffing stuff.
Yeah.
And but basically, it's like if you see a Apollo support in your lane, it might not be
surprised.
troll.
Yeah,
it might actually be a legit thing that you have to think about.
Yeah.
So
we have got a new Traveler coming to the Battleground in the next update, the Landshark Traveler, with 3 new prisms for Landshark Sobek, the classic skin that is coming, as well as a couple of different cosmetics that are shark themed. We've got Testing the Waters Jump Stamp and the Deep Bite Charm Badge available in that Traveler as well.
Yeah, and these are really fun. I've been playing with them in playtests. I think they are some pretty cool prisms, and there are 2 different, we're still figuring out the best way to sell prisms and what players think is fair and what, ultimately for something to make money, players have to be happy with the price that you're selling at and the quality and how you're packaging it, right? Yeah. And so this is another test of people really like markets. What if we tried doing this kind of 1-page Traveler market with 3 prisms in it?
Yeah.
And is that a more interesting way to buy things for people? So just another test, and we'll see how people react to that one. But I think these turned out really cool. And
the tubular teal is my favorite.
Goldfish orange is so obnoxiously
it's just so
bright
orange,
that I might rock that one more often.
Oh, that's great. And then other new skins and cosmetics in the update. We've got Mystic Guardian Athena, another classic skin, and she's going to have 4 prisms available with her, and they're a little bit different in the way that you obtain them versus the past prisms.
Yeah.
So they're going to be available for 600 diamonds each, or you can get all 4 in a bundle. And then the Stardust Mystic Guardian is only going to be available in that bundle.
Yeah, and so it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
But we reflected it the best we can. When you click to buy one of them in game, you'll get a pop-up saying, do you want this one for 600 or do you want all 4 of them for 1,200?
Right.
So you should know at that point in time the decision that you're making. Mm-hmm. If you then later decide, I want a second one, and you go to buy a second one, it will show you, do you want this one for 600 or do you want all
other 3
that you don't own for 600? The price will never go below 600 though for the remaining skins in the bundle. Mm-hmm. So, but at that point, it should be really obvious. Do I want 1 for 600 or do I want 3 for 600? I should buy the 3.
Yes.
But if you do buy the second one for 600 and then you decide you want the third one, it's still going to be 600. So It's a little confusing, but just when you're looking at it in game, it should be really obvious that if you want 1 for 600, just buy the 1. If you want all of them for 1,200, just get all of them. Mm-hmm. If you mess up the first time and want to get it the second time, you can still do that without having to pay extra.
Yes.
So
correct. We've got a cross-gen skin, Ceramic Circuit Kali. Cosmetics, we've got the Dancing Shark Global Emote, which is really fun. It's going to be available via an event, the Hot God Summer event. And then we've added a variety of cutesy avatars from Smite 1 to Smite 2 as badges, and they're going to be available in the Classic Cutesy chest, which is available for 100% Legacy Gems. Mm-hmm. And then last but not least for cosmetics, this reminds me, I need to pull up PTS at some point during the show and show off the ranked borders from the winter split of Season 0. These are going to be awarded out when this update goes live on Monday. So You're going to get a border that pertains to
fingers
crossed
on the timing. We did. They may go out not with the update.
Okay.
Depending on. They were working on something yesterday, and I'm not sure. I just don't want to like 100% promise they will go out when the update goes out, but they will definitely go out during the patch and probably when the update goes out.
Yes. So yes, if you played ranked during winter split of season 0, you will get a border that pertains to the highest rank that you got before the winter split ended. And then we've got a slew of ranked titles as well for the people that earn those. So we've got Demigod, Deity, Winter 2025, and then the Speedrunner title for the first, I forget if it's the first 10 or first 15 that reached the Deity level in the winter split.
Cool.
Should be really exciting. We've also got new supporter store items. We've got Teleporter VFX. They're added to SMITE 2. They're going to be in a bundle of the Twin Flames bundle. You've got a red fireball or a blue fireball. Just another thing that's added to the supporter store.
Yeah, and actually Chuck was looking at these, and he was like, I don't think these look cool enough. So he went in and he changed them to look better. So if you look in PTS today, the blue one is updated. The red one is just white. It's a white fireball.
Okay.
But if we do hop into PTS, we should take a look at the blue one because
for sure.
It looks cooler. It leaves like a trail behind you when you're using teleporter now. These are still like version 1 of teleporter effects. We think we can and will do cooler things with teleporter effects as we kind of build the system out. But we think this is a pretty cool first blush.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want to be a purple ball. I want to be a fireball.
For sure. Under general, we've got a few things that we can talk about here. We've got account boosters introduced into SMITE 2 with the update. So they're available in the store, and purchasing an account booster will boost your account for 30 days. And you get the following if you purchase a booster. You get 100% account XP, 25% worshiper gain, 25% wandering market XP gain, and then there are team benefits as well. So if you have a boost, you're going to be providing this to everyone else in your lobby. 25% account XP, 5% worshiper gain, and 5% wandering market gain. And these are stackable, so if everyone has a boost in your lobby, you're just going to get more rewards.
Yeah, and there is one other line in the client which did not make the notes here, which is that this is for account XP, worshipers, and wandering market XP that you earn through playing matches, not through quests.
Okay.
So you won't get bonus XP from your quest rewards. This is specifically for when you're playing a match, same as boosters worked in SMITE 1.
Cool. We've got some god builder improvements. Players can now copy an existing build for one god to another. So these are either your builds, or if you see a community build that you really like, you can copy that over for your personal use on whatever god that you want.
Yeah, and we did already get the note that some people were like, it would be cool to be able to copy to multiple gods at the same time.
Oh, nice.
And I don't think that's in this build, but we do have the note already, so we're looking into
that'll make it really easy for people who just have a standard like carry build or a standard mage build that they just want to apply to all their mains. And then we've also added filters to the God Builder page. Ooh, that's Bod Builder page. Somebody was hitting the gym when they were writing these notes to better sort items by stat type.
Oh, there's a question on the account booster price. So for 30 days, it is 1,300 diamonds or 650 Legacy Gems, 650 diamonds. So same price as a 30-day booster was in SMITE 1.
Yes.
And yeah, just bring it over.
Cool. We've got the console-specific HUD or the split HUD for the UI for our players that prefer that. It's really similar to the SMITE 1 split HUD that controller and gamepad players are used to.
Yeah,
right?
and we're looking for feedback on it. So if there's things that you don't like about the specific sizing or positioning of things, let us know. We need to add to the patch notes. There's a way to change your. If you don't like the old SMITE console HUD, new SMITE console HUD, which are very similar, there is a way to switch back to the PC layout, the centered layout. It's like 3 steps, but basically like you open your settings, under UI, you change HUD to centered, and then you open HUD editor, you click reset and save.
There you go. Cool.
But it is at least as of yesterday, that was the 3-step process. I know they were looking to make it a little bit easier to just one button change back if you didn't like it. Yeah. But I have been playing with the HUD layout that we are going to be shipping for console, even on PC for the past several days. And I like it a lot. I think it makes the game feel more like a modern game. And if you are used to playing SMITE 1 on console or any game on console that puts or not even on console, on PC, that puts like your cooldowns off to the side and gives you like a big health bar in the middle, it should feel very normal to you. I think that if you're more of a, like, if you come more from like the MOBA or the MMO world where you expect to have the big like cooldown icons in the middle of the screen, the other way feels very foreign to you. But if you play a lot of those other kind of games, the centered way feels very foreign to you. So hopefully it feels better for the percentage of players that prefer this kind of an interface.
Yeah, and if you use it in OB10, definitely leave us your feedback.
Yep.
Last up under general, for audio, we've added an option that is a volume slider for both quip volume and ambient map sound volume.
Yeah,
So,
and one thing I will note, we discovered this the other day, and I don't think that this has been addressed, but I believe that quips will play slightly quieter for yourself, that like your own quips, than they will for other people. So if you're like, why are my quips quiet and everybody else's quips are loud? There's kind of some default built-in tech to Smite that like kind of ducks your own audio a little bit so that you can hear what's going on around you better. And we think it's affecting quips as well. So if you're confused by that, that is something that we are aware of.
Cool. Under game modes, we have some arena changes that we have not talked about yet. So we're going to be increasing the gold and XP spooling in arena, and then arena versus AI, we increased the ticket count from 400 to 500. Got some feedback that if for our friends who play, versus AI and medium, matches were just feeling a little bit too short. So we've just increased that back up to the default 500 tickets.
Cool. And then I'm guessing easy is still at the lower ticket count. Okay.
But yeah, overall, arena, you should be, hitting your max level and your max builds just a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I will say that arena felt like it was, I don't want to say dragging, but it did feel a little bit slower paced.
Yeah.
So hopefully this helps.
Cool. And now we're on to God balance and item balance. None of this stuff has changed since our Wednesday show with Clumsy. So I'm just going to quickly, not going to go through every individual change.
What was the spicy stuff? I didn't even see it. I'm sad because normally, normally the first time I actually see the full balance is on the show, and I wasn't here on Wednesday. So what's the spice?
Yeah, well, Baron's getting a buff.
Yes,
spice for Kernanos, his aspect. He's going to get extra cooldown on his horn charge if he hits jungle monsters.
Nice.
So Kern jungle with aspect is going to be seeing a little bit of love there. Hunbats seeing a buff.
Dude, this is my patch.
I know, right? And then
so
Loki,
oh my god,
Loki seeing a buff, getting some extra damage, scaling during Vanish. Got a lot of feedback that Nuwa wasn't feeling so hot, so she's seeing a buff.
It seems like
well.
she's either like unbeatable or useless, and there's no in between. So
we got to find that middle ground. But we'll be keeping an eye on Nuwa when the patch goes live. Yamoja seeing a buff, specifically support Yamoja, not aspect Yamoja. So Mending Water is going to be increasing the shield health. And then big one, the ultimate is 120 seconds at all ranks for Yamoja. So that River's Rebuke is going to be firing off a lot more often. Merlin seeing a shift. Aspect of Pandemonium, the ultimate seeing a nerf, but base Merlin, all Eclipse, Radiate, and Dragonfire seeing some buffs. So Clumsy was like, Aspect Merlin is kind of just the way to go right now.
Yeah.
So we're toning that down and beefing up base Merlin just a little bit to kind of, find that middle ground. Aladdin going to be seeing a nerf. Awelish seeing a nerf. Kabrakan and Hades seeing nerfs. Sobek seeing nerfs. And then last but not least,
this patch started off so good, and now we're nerfing all my favorites. So.
And then Soul Aspect is seeing a nerf as well.
That was deserved, I'm going to say. Yeah.
And then moving on to item balance, lots of changes to anti-heal. Divine is getting the Chain Lightning back from Smite 1, so that's really fun. Brawlers getting a new effect on the passive to where if you get a god or assist, you get a field that's around you that lasts 6 seconds, and it gives allies in it bonus strength and intelligence, which is cool. And then we've got Contagion, new item coming to the Battleground, releasing with the update on the 19th. Basically, it lets you fire a deployable that does a burst, and everybody in it gets anti-healed. And then if they fire an ability, your cooldowns get reduced, which is cool. And then we've got some other new items as well, specifically focused around like late game tank stuff. Dwarven Plate and Freya's Tears are going to be releasing on the 19th. And then Erosion and Draconic Scale going to be releasing the Monday after on the 26th.
I built all of the new items in the playtest this morning.
Yeah, how did it feel?
I felt good. I was tanky.
As expected. Yeah. Nice. Let's see here. And then everything else is pretty much all the same. Amanita Charm, Berserker Shield, Eye of Providence. Fatalis getting an interesting shift here. Melee basic attacks now provide 2 stacks. Ranged basic attacks still only provide one.
Okay.
So if you're a melee character and you're sticking on your targets, you're going to get that hastened effect a lot faster than if you were a ranged character, which is cool. Hussar's Wings, buff here to reduce the cost and increase the health. Mystical Mail, we've got another anti-shield option for people. So alongside the scaling damage, enemies that have a health shield are going to take the full damage from Mystical Mail regardless of their position. So even if they're farther away, if they have a health shield, they're going to be taking the full damage from Mystical Mail. And then Pharaoh's Curse, we're going to be increasing the attack speed, decreasing the duration, and decreasing the cooldown. And then last but not least, Spirit Robe, just seeing 5 extra of both prots.
Nice.
And that will wrap it up for item balance and just a few bug fixes here. We fixed Joust versus AI, only creating team comps with melee gods. So that was not good. So that's been fixed up. And then for items, Prophetic Cloak, we fixed an issue where the 6% mitigation for being evolved wasn't working. And then we Blood-Soaked Shroud, we fixed an issue where this was not healing for twice the amount on god hits. So,
nice. And as always, there are almost certainly a bunch of other bug fixes that we just didn't remember to put into the notes because we're just kind of constantly fixing stuff.
Yep.
And, hopefully it continues to improve your pet issue that we may have fixed.
Yep. Well, chat, that is our Open Beta 10 quick update notes overview. Again, these notes are live on SMITE2.com. If you want to pull them up and go over them at your own leisure, you can definitely do that. But I'm going to bring us back to cams. And Kilgoon, do you want to take a question? Let me see if I can boot up PTS and see if we can show off some of the things that we're talking about.
Yes. People are asking, can we expect the H God this year? And besides him, will we have any other all-new God planned this year? Tentatively, yes. We are working on another all-new God who we are expecting will release before the H God. But the only gods you should be 100% sure are coming are Scylla and Ganesh.
Yeah, and Apollo on Monday.
And Apollo on Monday. And then we will give you more of an update as we are confident.
Yeah. I have to update PTS. It's going to take a little bit. So let's do some quick Q&A while this is going.
Let's see.
Will this change in pace with older gods help speed up production of the older gods? I know it takes a lot to make. Just curious on the sudden change.
So I will say it will not necessarily increase we're still planning to release a god every 2 weeks. It may give us some more time to work on other things that we think are issues with the game. But it was less about trying to go faster and more about, I guess, two things. One of trying to make sure that we stay at a god every 2 weeks. The design for the H God just was a very difficult thing to implement, and we were at a big risk of not shipping on this calendar that we're on if we tried to shoehorn him into the schedule. So I think that was a big part of making sure that we went back to this. And the other part was, again, just there's a lot of other stuff that we know this game needs that, it's hard when so much of your dev time has to be devoted to a new god, right? A new god. And I think it's just a better move to ensure that we maintain our current pace and that we get to do some other fun stuff that we know needs to happen. We have 5 new items this update, right?
Yeah.
Like if we had to have somebody full-time on the H God, we probably wouldn't have gotten those 5 items, and we would certainly not be as far along on Scylla and Ganesh as we were to be able to play test them this week. So
cool. Well, I have PTS up. I will bring up the handy dandy desktop again to show off the teleporter effect.
Yeah.
So this is the default. This is the updated blue fireball, which looks really cool.
It looks really cool. And if you, I don't know, do you have it? You can't use it, I'm assuming, because you don't have.
Oh yeah, I don't
everything
have
unlocked.
it. Rip.
Yeah, if you use it in game, you can see that it has like a trail behind it too. It's pretty cool. So I think it's an improvement.
Yeah, that's sick.
The red one's just showing up as white this morning, so it will be red though, which is a minor thing. We do not want Windows to know where we are.
And let's see if I'm in PTS. So
You're still sharing your screen. Oh, yeah, you are in PTS. Yeah, you're fine.
I'm not too concerned about leaking anything.
Yeah.
Let's see if the ranked borders are potentially in.
Oh, if you go to the profile, they're on the profile screen.
Nice. Cool. That's a pro tip. Profile,
so
ranked
season, and then ranked
rewards.
Here
we go.
So that's what they look like.
Cool.
So they are, I would say, relatively straightforward, but they do what they need to do for the first set, right? And are kind of like the original SMITE 1 ranked borders, right? So you've got the highest rank that you achieved, you've got some extra bling, and yeah, that's what we got.
Yeah. So yep, these are the borders. And again, as Kilgoon said, should be out at some point during Open Beta 10, maybe not right on release day, but we'll be sure to get them out to everybody.
Yeah, we're trying for release day, but there was a couple things that we were just like yesterday that came up. We're like, ooh, we got to figure that out.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna bring this back and let's take some more questions.
When will we get more ported announcer packs? So we are not putting them into this update just because we managed to get the cutesy badge chest in, which we thought was kind of fun and a different thing. But there will be more announcer packs in the next update. And then I don't remember if the third wave is going to be the update after that or 2 updates from then, but certainly not this update, but the next update there will
Kellen
be.
Kellen is a busy man. I was talking with Pon, and apparently he's submitted like over 100 bug fixes or something over the past couple of weeks. So
yeah,
he's just been fixing stuff up since he was on the show.
He is a busy dude. Okay, I'm gonna take this one because this is a fun one. You should change the color of the actual portal. That way arena players can benefit from the cosmetic and not just the fireball. Okay, so this is a conquest specific cosmetic right now. And I understand that that's a niche that means that not everybody's going to want to buy the teleport effects. But you bring up a really interesting problem that we run into a lot. There is one portal. There are 5 players. If multiple players on your team have teleport effects and teleport effects change the color of the portal, then whose do you use? And we've had a lot of discussions around things like, oh, it would be cool if we had tower skins or minion skins. And it's like, even if you do tower or minion skins in Conquest, there's 3 lanes.
Yeah. And
junglers would never get any benefit from that cosmetic, and supports or carries who gets that lane, So I think it's one of those ideas that sounds really good, but just trying to work out how do we make sure that people feel like they got value out of it, and that everybody can see the thing that they paid for, is a challenge that sometimes stops us from actually going through. The practicality of these ideas sometimes stops them. I think tower and minion skins would be too much. The game would look messed up. I think it depends on how you do it, right? And I there are games that do that already. In Dota, you can do that, I know for sure. And there have been seasonal minion skins in some of the other MOBAs. I think that you would have to stay relatively close to the base, but I think that there is a way of doing it that could be interesting. But regardless, I just don't think that you could implement it very well.
Let's see. Does the Apollo hitchhiking use the same teleporter balls? No, I believe he's got his own custom effects.
I'm not sure. I think it's just like a ball of light. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Is there any god you hate and want to redo their entire kit, or don't want to port over until the end? On a personal level, yes. On a business level, no. Yeah. I think that there are gods whose kits maybe will need more of a look at with +1s and adjustments and maybe even rework if necessary. But there's some gods that will just by default come later. But we're trying not to put too much of our personal opinion into those things, and instead listen more to what the community wants in terms of, what gods we should be prioritizing and what gods need changes when they do come over.
Yeah.
Right. But yes, the answer is Nox needs to change. No, just kidding. The community wanted bun hats. Don't listen to them. Oh, it's just Hunbots. I read it as bun hats, which was funnier. Hunbots actually, I think is a great addition to the game. I enjoy him being here.
Good question. Since they were flash tested together, are Scylla and Ganesh launching together? No. They're going to be individual.
Yeah, Scylla will be first, and then Ganesh will be after that.
Can we get a buy 5 chests at once option? Buying all the music / announcer packs took a while to do.
We've discussed this. We're never sure how much it would actually be a useful feature to players and how much it would be like, I don't know, kind of like it feels bad. Because normally, like a lot of times when people are there's different player profiles of like why you roll a chest, right? And there's people who just like, I just want everything in the chest. Mm-hmm. There are people who are like, I want discounted things and I don't specifically care what I get. I would just rather get more cool stuff for this game. And then there are people that are chasing like a specific thing from the chest. Based on our data, that's like the smallest percentage actually of players because of the way that we structure our chests. Like if we were one of those games that was like, oh, you've got a 0.5% chance of rolling the fancy thing, then you get a lot more of that, like that kind of behavior. But because our chests are, it's basically just like a big dynamic bundle where you might get the thing that you want most sooner. Players don't usually engage in that kind of behavior. We see a lot of people just like, anytime there's a new chest, I roll it once, or I roll it twice, or however much money I have to spend, I roll a couple times and I take what I get. So the thing about adding multi-rolls, to get back to the point of it, is that if I got the thing I wanted on like the first or second roll, would I then be mad that I got 5 rolls? I guess you wouldn't really know if you give you all the rewards at once, but still, I don't know. Just something about it feels like counterintuitive for the way people want to engage in chess, even though it would be a nice quality of life feature for people who do just want to buy it out or want to buy a lot of things from these big chests. So,
cool. I feel like 95% of the gods added are popular ones. Will we try and add less popular gods each 4 or 5 god releases, like Arachne or Bastet? So it's not only the popular ones getting love.
So I would say we try to mix it up. And I would say it's a lot less than 95%. Like Kali is a very unpopular god in Smite 1. But we thought she added an interesting gameplay style, and we had some interesting design ideas for her. And she's also a kind of iconic Hindu god that we don't really have a lot of Hindu gods in the game yet. Kabrakan's not a very popular god. Awelish is an incredibly unpopular god. Like, we've done quite a few less popular gods. Sure, we have not done, I'm just going to say a name. We haven't done Fafnir, right? Yeah. Fafnir has always been a very unpopular god. But that doesn't mean that we aren't willing to do unpopular gods. And we think that we need to make sure that we have a balance of things. With all the memes, is Kuzenbo popular? Kuzenbo's more popular than you would think, but he's not like top tier popular. Yeah. We got a ticket about this that since Tuesday, SMITE has been in a state of patching on GeForce Now. Not sure if that's something that you guys can do something about. We don't have any control over that. They just kind of do it. I think we said at one point, sure, you guys can do it. But my understanding is they just kind of like take the Steam build, and I don't know what happened on their end.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not something that we test or we actively like support on our side. So more of an issue on their end than something that we could fix.
Are we still doing stuff to movement on the back end? My games have felt worse than the revert to the new movement tech. No, so we pulled out the movement system.
Yeah.
Gosh, how many weeks ago was that? 3 or 4?
A few weeks back. Yeah.
I know that's something that the crew is consistently working on.
Yeah.
There are a few things on like larger arcs of work on the tech back end. Like right now is the UE 5.5 upgrade. I know Jordan and Nick still have the movement stuff that they're looking at it as well. So.
Is there any update on the assault map? Not right now. We're still, we decided, we kind of started working on some other stuff with our level design bandwidth, and then we'll loop back around to that as we have more time. But I think we feel like it's in an okay place right now. Double Worshippers. When do you want to do Double Worshippers again?
Oh, man. I'll talk to Blake and see if we can get that set up for the next couple weeks. It has been a minute since we've run a Double Worshippers event.
Memorial Day? That's good. That's
Off
now, but
yeah. That could be a good one, yeah.
Empty relic slot doesn't bring you to the relic page. It should, once this update goes live, it should be fixed. It's fixed in PTS at least.
Yeah. Someone said this weekend because I'm free for Double Worshippers. Can we get the Athena Magical Girl skin? You're in luck. It's coming out on Monday with Prisms.
With Prisms. So you can pick which Prism you like best.
Let's see. Will we see more early access guides to PTS like yesterday? That's a good question.
Probably at some point, but we don't have firm plans for it right now. We'll just kind of have to see how development goes, and if we think there's one that's in a good place to be able to do that. How did we get the idea of doing the meme global emotes? I think that might have been an AJ idea. It might have also been a Maryland idea. I'm not sure,
Maybe.
but it was just some devs were like, what would be a fun way to react to things? What's a good like way of communicating on the internet? And we were like, everybody loves talking with memes.
Everyone does, yeah.
Could be fun to adapt some memes. Is there a way to make it 3 majority vote to not be held hostage by trolling players? So we've had discussions about this over the years, but we think that 4 is probably the right number because you really want basically the whole team agreed that this is over, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can have just like 1 or 2 lanes that are having a bad time be like, game's over, you know? When the other lanes could be super ahead and it could just be like they haven't seen him yet, you know, because we're 10 minutes into the game. So I think that like it's something that we've heard the feedback on. I think the one thing that we changed recently, which hopefully feels better, is that like if somebody does leave, then you can leave too and not
Without
be
a
stuck and be
deserter
held
penalty,
hostage, because I think that is a more likely the game is over scenario. There are definitely times when you know the game is not super winnable and you can't get a surrender vote through. But I think like what I try and do in situations like that is just focus on like what can I learn and how can I get better as a player? You know, even if I'm not going to win, like what are the things that I could be doing here instead of just being upset that I'm in a game that's lost.
Yep.
4v5 ranked conquest game. How does that work? We put in some fixes in the past day or two to try and address these imbalanced matches. I'm not sure when you saw this, but there were a couple people that were having issues, so we're trying to fix that. OB 6 to 7 or OB 7 to 9 was a big arc of game changes. Can we expect similar arcs in future updates? I think that was such a big swing, and I think it was needed, but I think we feel like the game is in a much better place right now. At least like, it's not, starting place is a weird word, but like from this point, I think we can make changes to the game to make it really good, whereas the foundation wasn't strong before. So I think that there are things that we've been talking about, like oh, do we need to look more at starters? Do we need to look more at, some god base stats? Do we need to look at this and that? But I don't think necessarily this huge of a rebalance is planned again anytime soon.
Yeah.
But it could happen if we decide it's needed.
This is a good question. How far out do our long-term plans go? No spoilers needed.
So generally speaking, we have a pretty good idea of what we want to do, at least through like the first quarter of next year. But things are pretty, I would say, like, once something's about 3 months out, it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Like, it's rare that things change. It happens, but it's fairly rare that things change more than 3 months out, like at a drastic level. And then beyond that, it's much more tentative about like, we need to have a plan, but things are much more flexible. What do you think of lowering the damage of all gods, but decreasing ability and relic cooldowns? Just a thought. I would say that just this is not something I've talked with design about. This is just my personal opinion based on things I've seen in the industry. And I would say that like it's probably more likely we would go the other way, and that most games seem to be building themselves more around like less frequent abilities that do a lot of that are very powerful, instead of like I'm constantly managing 20 buttons, right? And that's just it's a difficult thing for players to do. Mm-hmm. And if your buttons don't feel like they do something when you do them, then that just isn't, it's not good feedback for you as a player. You're like, it's like, this is just another dumb button I got to push and it barely does anything, So more powerful, slower buttons, I think is just generally the way that the gaming industry is going. What is the purpose of of bot matches not giving worshippers after rank 7? In SMITE 1, they didn't give worshippers after rank 3. Mm-hmm. And we moved it to 7 because people were like, I would like it to be later. We have been getting more feedback recently that people are like, it should just be forever. And I think that there is an argument that it could just be for forever. At the time, we didn't, it's not that, I don't know, how do you say this? Like, if you load into an arena or a conquest or whatever with somebody and they're like rank 10, you're like, oh, that person's good, right? They've played this god a lot. And we were cautious about giving off the wrong message in PvP queues if you got all of your worshippers against bots and then go play against people for the first time. Because I think players do kind of play around like, oh, this person's really good. Either I need to try and help them to be successful, or I need to stop them from being successful, or I need to look out for them. And it's just, there was concern that it would be too misleading about, your skill playing PvP with that god. So that said, a lot of people have been asking for it. We haven't had any real discussion about moving it up from level 7. Again, it was 3 in SMITE 1, so it is quite a bit already. But yeah, that's kind of how we are where we are. No hints for the other all new god right now. I'm not Travis.
Yeah. Travis tried to earlier this week, and we're like, nah, Travis, you got to hold that
one. Are you aware of the issue where certain VGS commands don't work in all game modes? Two potential things. If you're in practice, a lot of them don't work. Yeah. If you are on a non-QWERTY keyboard, there are some issues. If it's something beyond that, please let us know. But those are the two most common issues that we're aware of. I'll let Travis speak. Do you know if earning legacy gems is going away soon? Not soon. We'll put out an announcement to let people know. At some point, we will cut off the account linking because it's a lot to manage from our perspective. Mm-hmm. And we are seeing fewer and fewer people that come in every day are linked accounts. So we are just getting a lot more like totally new to Smite people, which is good, I think. But there will be a date where you can stop making progress on your Divine Legacy and you can stop earning Legacy gems. And you will have to have linked before this date to get all your stuff. Did we fix the ability order leveling up following what you put in the custom builder? I think that was fixed for this update. It might just not have made patch notes, but I'm pretty sure that that was something we looked at.
Not a question, but love what you guys did with Kali aspect with the less powerful but more frequent ultimate. Hope in the future you guys give us a god with that base kit like that. Okay.
Sure.
I see Pon lurking in here, so maybe he's taking the mental note already.
I wasn't listening. Okay.
They like the idea from Kali's aspect with less powerful ultimate, but being able to cast it more frequently. So maybe something like that for a base kit in the future.
Go for it.
I just maybe this is a bug report, but make it so aspect Kali can ult while autoing. I'm not sure if a bug is there, but Pon is here. Pon, hopefully you heard that. I'll take a note too, just in case.
Custom games are fairly bare bones right now. Can we expect improvements in the future? So I'm guessing you're talking about like in Smite 1, I don't know, like year 8 or something, we added a bunch more kind of presets to custom games, and we added like you could do a lot of like the match of the day kind of things.
Right, yeah.
We'll definitely do something like that at some point in the future, but I think we're just not there yet where that's the most important thing for us to be working on. We don't even have the match of the day stuff for you to be able to use that to make a custom game with. So it's definitely on the future to-do list, but not imminently happening. Oh, the Persephone enjoyers are in chat. Yeah, I think that Persephone is one of those gods that we understand that when we bring her over, we will need to spend some time thinking about how we approach that.
I see your bug report about not being able to buy diamonds in the Epic Game Store, Patchery. I'm taking a note, but if you could drop what region you're in as well, that will help us.
What period of Smite history do you pull popularity data from for your next port selections, pre or post Smite 2 announcement? I would say we kind of look at both, and we also look at like community polls and discussion, and like we look at a lot of factors. It's not just, there's also like we have historical data about like, you know, one of the things we think about, which doesn't really affect too much, but like occasionally it pops into our head if we're between two gods that fill a similar role and are a similar workload. Like different gods also tend to make different amounts of money. So like Hercules has always been an incredibly popular character in Smite. No one has ever bought his skins. We have never made a Hercules skin that made anybody open their wallet. And I think we've had some pretty cool Hercules skins over the days, but nobody bought any of them compared to any other god, right? So it's like, just because a god's popular doesn't mean that they will make money for us. And sometimes that can be like a tie-breaking factor if we've got like two gods that are similarly requested and similarly popular, you know, something we can think about. I got Derpules and never wanted anything else. That's fair. That's fair.
That's a good one.
Hercules fans are broke confirmed. I didn't say it. This guy did.
Let's see. For Kilgoon and Isiah, is there an item that you missed from Smite 1 or a new item type you'd like to see in Smite 2?
That's a good question. I liked a lot of the... there's a lot of good items in Smite 1. There's been so many years of different item stuff. I liked a lot of the like healing triggered items. You know, there was a Lotus Crown. There was the earrings of something that dropped the shields. There was the I go fast when I heal, you know, and I liked a lot of those I thought were really interesting, especially like I played a lot of Sylvanas, and I think that, Lotus Crown Sylvanas was awesome. I loved it. Fae Blessed Hoops. Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew it was some kind of earrings. And I think that like there's, I think that that's an interesting, fun design space that we maybe don't have enough healers to really go super down that route yet. Maybe we do. Is it the thing that we need the most in Smite 2? Probably not, but I enjoyed that category of items.
Yeah.
What about you?
Gosh, I liked a lot of the items. I really like the. We may not need them as much in Smite 2 just because of the way we've kind of built out the item store and flexibility, but I love the masks in Smite 1. Those are just super fun items to play around with. You're just, queuing arena late night, just, having fun, not playing anything. I just love the masks. Those were good. And then some of the newer items from Smite 1 towards the back half, like year 10, year 11, like I think Duality is a super cool item that I think could be pretty cool in Smite 2 as well.
Those are good ones. I appreciate the no penalty after someone leaves, but why give us the L? I get giving the other team the dub. Just curious. Had a friend ask me. I mean, I get it. It's casuals, but it's still an L.
Yeah.
So theoretically, we could like hide it from your screen or something, but the way that like matchmaking ELO works is that somebody has to go up and somebody has to go down.
Yeah.
We cannot just inflate the total amount of ELO in the system, essentially. So because of that, like somebody has to lose and somebody has to lose MMR in the back end. And we've had this argument a lot of times with like our matchmaking people about like, but it's not fair. And, but it quickly breaks the system where it's just like people start going like crazy. And like I guess it becomes inflated very quickly is the best way to say it. And then the other issue is that you could lead to people abusing this system where it's like, I have a friend on an account that we use just to dodge when we're losing games so that I have never gotten a loss on this account. And I only play when this account's, up. And it's just, people will find ways to abuse things, and we don't like leaving the door open like that. And like you said, in casuals, it's kind of meaningless, right? Like, it does affect your MMR in the back end, but nobody can see that you have that you're diamond or whatever, right? It's like, it's okay to lose a game every now and again. You'll probably lose about half of your games. Yeah. Any news on Odin aspect? I don't have any. Sorry. Is there a better way to buy Vulcan mods? Maybe you don't need to be at the fountain. That's interesting. Very Ratatosker.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say I always forget to buy my Vulcan mod. It pisses me off. But that's interesting. I think there is an issue with custom builds, auto build, not buying the Vulcan mods, which I know sucks. So we need to fix that. I think it might be fixed, but if not, it's on our to-do list. Yeah, I think it's an interesting note. I don't have a firm yay or nay to it, but it's an interesting note. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say the other bit. So the one issue that we see with like shopping when you're not at base is that it is considerably harder for controller players to shop while not in base. So that was whenever we give people the option to like we had the Chesters that let you
the secret
shop that lets you shop out in the map in Smite 1 for a while. And it was used significantly more by PC players than console players because they just didn't feel safe or confident to shop in those situations. Like console Chongas, have to like run back and sit under tower for a second to shop. It's just a different world. What's your favorite missing ability from Smite 1 and why is it Gilgamesh Dropkick? Dropkick was a great ability. It's very iconic, and I like it because it's it's simple, but you know what it is and you know what it does, right? That's a good one. I don't know if it's my favorite missing ability from Smite 1. I don't know what would be my favorite missing ability from Smite 1, but
lots of cool ones.
Lots of cool ones, yeah. Can Uller get some love? No aspect or skins yet. We haven't talked much about aspect, but this gives me a chance to talk about skins. There's a couple gods that just don't have a skin yet, right? And most of those gods were added during our
push to 50.
Our push to 50, where we were like, we got to get in a bunch of gods real quick. And these gods weren't planned to be on the calendar, so we didn't have skins planned for them. We've gone back through, and I think everybody has something scheduled to come at some point now. Which I know isn't like the most reassuring, but we are working back through that list of gods. Our focus is we stopped all skin production entirely, and we're like, let's just make a lot of gods. So we made a lot of gods, and then it was like, oh, now we got to go back and make skins for all these gods. So it just takes a little bit of time to catch up. We've been getting a couple questions about multi-queue. I don't think there's any ongoing work on multi-queue right now. I think it's something that like technically Rally here supports, but we just don't have UI to support that. And I think it can also make things a little bit confusing. But it could be something we do in the future, but just not currently a priority. Will one of the next new Smite 2 gods be a support god? It seems like we've only gotten damage dealers so far. I will say I have also noticed this, and as a support player, I am hurt at our lack of representation. We try and make sure that we mix it up and hit every role. I'm not going to say exactly what we have coming, but we do take all that into account. With account boosters, would you consider adding recruit a friend or return rewards, even if it's beta? We actually have some refer a friend stuff that we've been working on in the background. And then we decided to like deprioritize it a little bit to work on some other features that we thought were more important. But at some point it will show up most likely. We have done some work on it in the background. Are the plushie skins popular?
I like the plushie skins. The plushie Sobek is my favorite one right now.
Really? It's a good one. I like the plushie Ganesh.
Oh, I love that one too.
It's a really good one. No, they're great skins. They generally do pretty well. There's a couple different like kind of subcategories of the ways that we've done them, and some of them are a little bit more successful than others. But it's certainly a pretty good. Basically, like if we have made multiple of a skin line and not just like in one patch, it probably did pretty well. Do you have an idea of how many gods you plan on releasing by the end of the year? We have an idea.
Yeah. Every 2 weeks.
Basically every 2 weeks is the plan, right? So, you can do the math. We got half the year to go. We got every 2 weeks. That's like 12 more gods, 13 more gods, something like that. Because that would be 26 in a year if it's 52 divided by 2. So, I don't know, something like that. Are we happy with teleporters in their current state? I know they are controversial, especially early game. I think we actually do like teleporters right now. I think that we feel like it can make the game feel more dynamic and less like coin flippy early game, right? Like if like one mistake usually won't cost a lane completely, but it does still give you an advantage. And it does also let you rotate around the map a little bit more and be involved more in the things that are going on. And generally speaking, people like doing things and not doing things, right? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like one of Smite's core design philosophies is like, you kill the wave and then you go fight over this thing, and then you kill the wave and then you go fight over this. Like, you don't just stand around and you don't slowly kill the wave. Like, you need to just like be doing things. So I think that it helps with the you're doing things of Smite. What skin theme are you surprised it's as popular as it is? It's a good question.
Yeah.
I would say that like I don't have a specific line in mind, but like I feel like some of the like edgy, dark skin themes just always do better than I was expecting them to do, even though I should know that they always do well.
Yeah.
It's like if you turn somebody into a demon, they're going to sell, right?
Yeah.
Like if you make somebody like a spooky dark elf, they're probably going to sell, right? Like people like the kind of edgy dark stuff. And that, as you can tell, is not my personal aesthetic. I'm like, give me the plushies, you know? Like I just like goofy stuff, right? I'm a goofy dude. Like it's kind of my core personality. But other people are not that way, and that's, you got to be aware of all that stuff.
I think the food skins.
skins
Someone in chat says they hate the food skins, but they're so good.
Pretty good.
Sweet. Well, Kilgoon, we're at 2 p.m.
Oh.
Gosh, the show went fast.
Did go fast.
It's time for one more question. The last one of the week. And
Pon said boo food skins.
Oh, no.
Pon, have you seen Taco Sura?
Oh, it's the
Come
best.
on. You might have been on Smite 2 at that point. I don't know if you ever saw it. It's so good.
It's great.
You guys did Baked Beans Baba.
Yeah.
Not only did we do Baked Beans Baba, unfortunately, Smite 1 appears to be stuck for all time with Baked Beans Baba as the loading screen art, because it was the last new screen we released. So if you log into Smite 1 as a new player, you are greeted by Baked Beans Baba. And this is a disaster. And we've actually been talking about patching Smite 1 just to change the art so it's not Baked Beans Baba. Yeah. And we're like, but is it worth the time? And we're like, but it's Baked Beans Baba,
It's
guys.
Baked Beans Baba.
So anyway, this is Pon-Pon's fault for making Baba Yaga. Yeah. That's what this comes down to.
That's great.
Let's see.
One more question for each of us before we close it out for the week.
I think this is probably a good one given the week. Will we be getting a traditional God roadmap after a bit, or are we committing to this schedule at the moment? I will say for right now, this is what we're announcing, right? I really like doing roadmaps, but the problem is that like it can be more restrictive for the dev team, and harder to prioritize things that come up that we're like, cool, that sounds awesome, right? Like if we have a really good idea to do something and we're like, man, that'd be great to do it, but we don't have time because we have to do this hard God that we committed to doing. And we could say on our side, no, we're going to do, I'm just going to throw a God who's easy out there. We're going to do Vamana instead so that we can do this other feature. Then it would be nice to be able to have that flexibility, not 3 months out, where we can say, hey, next month we're going to change our schedule and we're going to do this because we know we can get this easier God in and we want to do this other thing instead. So I think that like we want to give you guys as much advance notice as we can of things. Like you can tell we're very community focused. We share pretty much everything with you. We let you try 2 gods that were very far from being done yesterday. But it's just like, it can kind of rope us in to where like, even though like you guys have been awesome and very accepting that the H God was delayed as we decided to focus on something new.
Yeah.
I think that like, there are still people who are like, oh, H God delayed, and it's fair because we said, even though we said subject to change, we did say this is what we were planning. And now the plan has changed. And if you had gotten mentally committed to that plan, it's hard to, accept the new thing, even if the new thing maybe is better. So, so we're kind of going, month to month, every 2 gods at a time right now. Maybe we'll update a little bit more with the next one. I don't know. We'll see. But around the time that we get to Ganesh, we'll probably give you a bigger update or some update of where we're going next.
Yeah, cool. I see people missing the PowerPoint, so maybe
I know. Maybe I just need to make a PowerPoint about something silly.
Sweet. And then I've seen this one in chat a couple of times. Kilgoon, do we have any info on, I think we've talked about this before, but hiding your profile or making it private. This was a feature in Smite 1. We don't have it in Smite 2. Is that something that the team is thinking about?
So you can't in Smite 2, you can't go like see somebody's profile in game the way you could in Smite 1.
True.
So I'm assuming you mean like looking somebody up on Tracker GG.
Yeah.
And having a way to like be an anonymous profile on API tracking sites. That's not something that we've really discussed, but there maybe is a way to do it and something we could consider. But it's just not a thing that we've thought about. Maybe somebody else on the team has.
Yeah, I didn't even think about. We don't even have the ability to look at other players' profiles in Smite 2 yet. So.
Yeah, so it's like you can see, you can see who they are, but like you can't see any of their like match history or anything.
Yeah,
so.
maybe this is like, if we do end up thinking about it further, maybe this is something that we could tie in, hiding your community build and stuff, just because that was another question that came up as well. So,
we forgot to Alani check before we go.
I've got Orange Kiss today.
I am just matching my shirt with a cherry twist. So, if only it was a watermelon twist,
I know,
which is
right?
not a thing that exists. So.
Sweet. Well, Kilgoon, thanks so much for joining us on the show.
Yeah.
It's our first show together this week.
I know. It's been
on
a weird
Friday.
week.
Chat, thanks so much for hanging out. Thanks so much for all the support this week with our Open Beta 10 flash test, the flash test for Scylla and Ganesh. We'll be back on Monday for another show right at 1 p.m. Eastern. Open Beta 10 will be launching on Monday as well. I believe maintenance is going to start at 7 a.m. Eastern in the morning on Monday, so just keep an eye out for that. But until then, hope everyone has a great weekend, and we will see you all next week. Peace.